everybody. I'm going to do something a little different. I think this is going to be a regular feature here on my channel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some devices, or in this case one device that was made by somebody else, and it's featured on www.maxforlive.com. There's a great collection of devices over there. It's definitely worth becoming a member, signing up. Here's their window. And like I said, www.maxforlive.com. Lots of fantastic devices. A really great way to get to know Max is by looking at other people's patches, kind of seeing what's going on. A lot of stuff that's on here is Creative Commons license, so you can reuse the stuff, build your own patches based on it. You can find, kind of share things with the community, debug stuff, all kinds of great things. That's the nice thing about Max. One of the nice things about Max. And anyway, so I'm going to look at this a patch that another user there made. This is called a Simple Parameter Sequencer. This is version 1.21 by Prebentious. His license here, he has none under here, so I don't know exactly. He hasn't said, it's copyrighted or whatever. So I assume we can take a look at it and see how it works. So it kind of takes off where. Sort of like the LFO. I mean, you guys saw that one. That's a really great device. This one's really exciting because it's a step sequencer for parameters. So rather than just modulating them, you can modulate them according to steps. Like here, I have 8 steps going on. If you watch the rate in my auto filter and kind of listen to what's going on, I have a high rank and kind of bass thing going on. And it's modulating the parameter step by step. So I have these 8 steps, and it goes from 1/8 note to half note to quarter note synchronization in here. So it's really fantastic. So if I wanted to say, set up on one of the later beats, really fast modulation for, let's see, something crazy like that. It's really powerful. So let me look at how it kind of works here with you. First, the user interface. You'll see I have a loop min and max. So you have up to 8 steps, looks like here. And you can set it, to start on any particular step. You could start on step 4, go through 8, and all that. But usually you're going to start on step 1, and maybe just if you have a single step, 2 steps. And it is beat synchronized, so it's kind of awesome that way. You can set what the speed is, so whether each step is a whole note, half note, quarter note, down to a 30-second note. So for really short steps, quarter note works really well for kind of your dance-driven dubstep. So all you dubsteppers out there are going to be on quarter note likely, a lot of the dance music stuff. And then you have a dial for each of the steps, and you just set the value. And you can set, I guess the dials by default they're 0 to 127, but you can also map their range. You have a min and max, and you can see the instantaneous output at any point as it's kind of stepping through there. Right? So you can kind of customize it for most devices. We'll see some stuff inside the patch actually later on that kind of probably rounds some things off. There's also this glide parameter. What glide does is it determines how you want to look at the device, and it's not necessarily just switching hard between the steps. It can kind of glide, so it kind of interpolates values in between each of the steps as things go up and down. So if you watch my rate knob over here, if I set the glide up, you see a lot more in between values, and it's kind of like really acting like there's a person twiddling the knob as opposed to just jumping between the steps here, like that is. Now, of course, like a lot of other devices, especially the kind of parameter modulation devices, you'll see here's the choose what device it is. I've chosen auto filter, and I've chosen, say, frequency. But you could set it to anything, of course. You can set it to resonance. So resonance modulating per step. Fantastic thing. I mean, this is, LFOs are great. LFO, between the combination of the LFO and a step sequencer for parameters, I mean, this is killer, right? Okay, so let's look inside, because I know a lot of you guys want to learn about Live, and the purpose of a lot of my stuff on my channel is to really learn. We just don't want to just review these devices, and maybe some people want to just check them out that way, but you want to see really what's going on. So I open up my Live device, and I see presentation mode. So this is set to show presentation mode by default. I click on my window little icon and get it into patching mode, and I can see what's going on. It's a really great patch. It's all more or less on one page here. You can kind of see what's going on at a glance. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for the sake of this, and so you can see a little bit better what's going on. All right, so let's see. It's a audio plug-in. That's nice because this way you can use it on any track, because even MIDI tracks you can have audio plugins for processing. That's kind of one nice thing about using Max for Live audio devices for a lot of your parameter automation stuff, because it'll work on any track really. All right, so what do we got going on? Let's look up here. Let's start off. There's a metronome device. And it starts up active, interval 10 ticks. So these are like the default parameters that are being set to the metronome for starters, and then it divides that out into using the transport device. Now, as you're doing any of this stuff, if you want to find out, again, if you're learning about Max, click on things and just go up here and select Help, Open Transport Help. I'm going to get the help window for that device. So here, controls a master clock and report time values. Oh, that's what transport is doing. You can see it, here's what all our parameters are doing, right? Here's a great example. Looks like, this is probably where a lot of it came. You cut and paste. You can then, all the help files are even like, you can grab this, cut it, paste it right into your patch. Good to go. All right, so timing stuff gets set up here. So we have it locked to our count, or our clock, and then that is driving the step sequencer, and another cool thing is there's built-in step sequencer devices in your Live for Max, Max for Live kind of stuff. So you can like set up these things and then just fire them step by step. A lot of that's already built in. All right, so this part we set up our minimum and maximum loop lengths here. If I put it back into non-edit mode, you can see it actually working here. So I can scroll up and down, set the values, or here's the number boxes. All right, now watch this. Ready? You can see how in presentation mode, it kind of shows you just what you want to know. So you just zoom in and out, and you can see what's going on. So, all right, there I'm setting that. We have some logic up here to let your little numerical scrolls do their thing, and then this guy here, okay, this guy is generating some messages, and you can see this S. What S is a send. It's kind of a little bit of a wormhole. It's a way to send something from one part of the program to another. It's sort of like a variable, but you basically for every S, and you'll see here's the name of the variable or the location, the other end of the hole. Like here's set min. Somewhere there's going to be a R set min on here. Scale min, scale max. Come on, where are you? Scale min, scale max. Maybe inside of a patch that we're not being able to see here. Oh, wait, there it is. Huh. Send set min, receive set min. So just whatever's coming out of here, that's how it gets sent back up there. It just kind of goes into this set min object, the S, and the receive gets it, sends it, puts it in there. So this way you just have lots of wires, looping around, lots of patch cords. Keeps it from being a little bit messy. It can be a little trickier to follow because you have to look for where things kind of wind up, but that's what's going on there. So I can set my number of steps, and the steps here are pretty straightforward. They're pretty simple. They don't have a value on the step. Instead, the step guy in this is really just driving this guy up here. Okay? There's some other ways to do it, and I think you could maybe accomplish the same thing all in one step object instead of live, but hey, that's the way Preventious did it, so we're going to stick with that. So okay, as this comes up here, it gets a message that contains all the values from this guy, and it's going to cycle then through and set the which ones are live, and kind of as it goes through. So you'll see if we actually start up live. Alright. So you can see it's cycling through here and doing everything up here. Oh, wait, you know what? I think now that I see, he actually is setting those values in here. So there's a little trickiness going on. Alright, so, oh yeah, that's not connected. Interesting. So the layout kind of threw me off. So this really just lights these boxes, but the values on each step here, they are, yep, sure enough, these values are getting packed in, prepended, and they set the values in this guy here. So that's what's going on. So this step sequencer really is running the show, and this is just a sort of an interface to that. Very nice, nicely done, Preventious. Okay, so that triggers that, sets up the step sequencer, and then, okay, how does it, change values? That's probably what's going on over here. All right, so we have values kind of then getting kicked out over here. They get scaled according to our range bar and our min or max. That's similar to what I had in my LFO thing, and lots of people have used that one. I first saw it in Synac's version of the LFO, but I guess it's shown up in different places. I don't know if it's his original code or somebody else's, but who knows. It's very cool. Nice shareable piece of code. And what that basically does is it has a minimum and a maximum and a range slider, and so you can kind of set things. That shows up nice, looks nice in your patch. Then it scales it to the proper output value and comes down in here. Now, it looks like, what do we have here? Scale max and scale min. It's receiving that from somewhere else. Okay, oh, down here. So there's a little bit of a, again, kind of a loop around as it gets messages back from max. It has to receive the min and update itself, make sure it's knows what's going on. So, wait. Oh, the device remote, I think it is actually getting... okay. So it's the device parameter remote. There's a value that's going to come back for the minimum and maximum value of that device. So this is a pretty smart patch here. If I look at this, let's look at this object. This is one of the standard objects. This is one of the Max for Live abstractions, the helper objects in there, or helper patches in there to help you out. So this will get a parameter for you, and it will give you the value and the minimum and maximum of it. So he's pulling that back in and using that to set his scale here, which is the right way to do it. I better go back and change that in my LFO patch to do that as well, because I'm just assuming in mine that values are going from 0 to 1, which seems to work most of the time, but this is a better, more explicit way to do it. That's nice. Okay, so the device device parameter remote is what's kind of calling the shots on a lot of this here. So it gets that value back. These are also, I assume, if I look in here, V-patchers for the Max for Live abstractions, the select device and the select parameter. And V-patchers are basically ways to call another piece of code, another patcher into here as a block, and you can use it just graphically. You can see a little bit of it. So these are calling the Max for Live abstractions. They set the values. This guy sets the parameter, and ultimately, if you look inside him again, he's the one that's calling live remote, which is what's sending the value. And this patch here, we could spend another 10 minutes on talking just about that one, but save that for another one. Okay, so that's what's going on. He's setting a step sequencer up. He has a different value for each step. The metronome cycles through there, fires up our live step sequencer, comes in here. He's already got things set up as far as the parameter goes, and then some scaling stuff to bang out the parameters. Now what's going on here, you see this line, okay? Now what line is doing, I assume, that's his glide over here, right? So as we glide between values, what a line can do, you can kind of interpolate between 2 points, and glide, he's going to, I think he's setting in his time on there. Yeah, his ramp time in milliseconds. So that's how long in milliseconds it's going to take to go from one value to the next. See, a line is a way to interpolate between two values. And you go ahead and click on that guy, open, help, to learn about line. So like I said, best way to learn Max is just get in there, click on help, click on things, use the help functions, use the built-in tutorials. So this is an awesome patch. I can't say enough cool things about it, especially if you're into that dubstep kind of automatic modulation stuff. Set up some patterns where you're quarter note, half note, eighth note, modulating a filter like this, like auto filter like I've got going on. Phenomenal patch. I give it 2 thumbs up. If I had more thumbs, I'd give it those 2. All right, so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Go out, check out Max for Live. Props to Preventious for putting this patch out there. Hopefully you learned something from it, or just go ahead and use the patch. Have a great time, and hopefully I'll put more of these kind of review and under the hood tutorials and demos in my on my channel. So keep coming back, and you can learn a lot about how Max in general works and how Max for Live works. Take care. Bye.